Hi, Meet. It's good to have you on Blitz Business.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Let's get started. So, Meet, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Awesome. So, I am the CEO of this startup called BeBetta. Essentially, in the last 3, 4 years, we realized that what is happening in gaming industry in India is something that we have not seen in the last, probably a decade in terms of the user base growing, the amount of companies. So, I love gaming and I also love sports. So, just thought of starting up something in the industry that can sort of touch both the industries. And essentially, with that insight, we launched our app a little over 8 months back now. So it's been an exciting journey. And this was my second startup. My first startup was this company called Craft Easy, where it was a completely different sector. It was a B2B marketplace where we were helping Indian artisans selling their products to international markets. So post that, directly got into this, and now it's been as I said, 8 months. So yeah, that's a bit about me and what I do.
Awesome. So it's basically what all games you have. Like, help us understand this business a little bit. I have few questions, but help us understand this landscape. I think, and many regulations also have kicked in into this space. I think so.
Yes. So essentially, there are two sectors when we think about gaming, which is the biggest ones, which is casual gaming and real money gaming. So all the regulations that you see are typically around the real money gaming industry. So when I talk about both the industries, we saw that in casual gaming, users have high intent in the first few months that they play the game, but they get bored. So just imagine yourselves. Let's say you download a game called Ludo King, for example. You intensely play for the first couple of months, then you get bored and you move on to the next game. So these casual games, they suffer from high user churn and they don't have long term retention. They don't really know a lot about the users. And for a business whose entire model or revenue model is dependent upon the advertisements, it's very difficult to sort of sustain that particular model. And when we came to the real money gaming, we saw that what you said, right? Legalities, taxation is something that makes it very difficult to run smooth operations for this entire industry. And essentially, what we have done is create BeBetta at the intersection of these two worlds. So we are not a real money gaming company. We are a gamification company. So what happens on our platform or our app is users can play these casual games and they can make sports predictions, but it entirely happens for free to play. What happens is, let's say if Ashish comes to the app, he earns Bitcoins, which is our game currency. And in return of these currency, what we give is we give them offers, discounts, and rewards via our brand partnerships. So that's the sort of genesis of what we've built upon. We don't indulge in users putting in money, taking out money. We don't do that.
Oh, so you're saying it's a intersection of casual gaming and the real gaming, right? But isn't it a very fine line? So how do you define that boundary?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So essentially, entire regulation, it starts kicking in when you start charging users money and then users are taking money out of the platform. As I mentioned, there's no intake or outtake of money here. It's entirely a free to play app, but it's almost like a credit coin where you get credit coins for paying credit card bills. You get Bitcoins here for playing games, and those Bitcoins can be used to redeem rewards.
Meet, I am facing some lag. Can you check once? And there is some lag,
For
or
me, I
is it
can
at
hear.
my end? Okay. So let me just check one second. Okay. So basically, you're saying that boundary is until and unless you're not putting the money in, it is absolutely fine.
Yeah, and you're also taking the money out. I feel like it's both.
Okay, so you're not putting money in or taking it out. So you guys are only providing your own currency, you're saying, or what?
Yes, it's a game currency, so it's something that gets offered on the game itself.
And how I can use that game currency?
So we have bunch of brand partners where these are D2C brands which we work with, and then these D2C brands, the way we work with them is on a different model. So some of the brands, they give away free products, some of the
Mhm.
brands, they give away discounts, coupons. So that's how the rewards get to the users.
So what's the most challenging piece in this entire business meet?
So one of the biggest challenge we have faced is we had to really adapt ourselves and sort of change our product very quickly, is because we have seen growth at a very rapid pace. So sort of adjusting to that also becomes very difficult sometimes. So I'll give you an example. Like our target for the entire year was we wanted to get to 1 million users in the first 12 months. But in just like 6 to 7 months, we are already close to 7 million users. So now it's 7x, and still there are like, for almost 5 months to go. So managing to that scale has been challenging in terms of like, the user preferences, the contest format, making it fair and sort of like interesting for the users at the same time for long term is something that has been a consistent challenge that we had to evolve very quickly into. So that was the first challenge. Second challenge I would say is um, sometimes when you start a company like this and have to balance, like, you have to get users as well as also think about your business models in a way that will sustain this distribution you're creating. So I feel like the creation and the thought process behind the models that we want to eventually get into was also something that we had to do very quickly because of the scale we saw. So there were a lot of perks of us growing fast, but there were equal challenges as well that we had to really, like, work extremely fast on and had to execute. While, of course, what the product that we launched versus what we have today, you'll see there's a huge evolution in that itself, and it's going to continue to keep happening. Is because we didn't expect something like this to happen so quickly. So I would say these were the like few challenges that we saw in the early days.
And how did you sort of reach that scale? I mean, what sort of marketing strategies work for you? I guess it's not easy to have such sort of high user base volume. Like what worked for you guys?
I think so. The biggest credit I would give is to like I'll rank it in like three places. The first credit I think so the timing that we launched, because we also have a sports prediction model. So when we launched, there were two major cricketing tournaments that were going to happen, which was IPL and the Cricket World Cup. So during that time, sort of the acceptance to the product was higher, and we were able to easily communicate to the users. So that's what gave us the initial scale. So that was the first part. The second part was that the kind of product we have created, it has a lot of social elements into it. So let's say if you come to the platform, we have a referral program where if Ashish invites his or her friends, like sort of like it rewards him with additional coins and sort of like goes up the level. So there were a lot of these social elements like referral programs. There were a lot of multiplayer games that users can have fun while inviting their friends. So that worked out for us. The timing, of course, was the case. And third is the kind of team that we've been able to form. My entire core team, they come with wealth of gaming experience. A lot of them have worked at gaming companies earlier, and especially the CMO that we have. He was at this company which was live streaming and social gaming, and they have done like I think so 50, 60 million users in just like 2, 3 years. So he has seen that scale and knows the channels. So I would say like these are the three most important things for the initial traction that we got.
Understood. That's amazing. That's pretty amazing. So, what's your business model then? How do you guys actually make money? Because it's all in coin, coin, coin. So, how do you make actual money then?
So I think so. It's a great segue into the point you made. It's all about coins, coins, coins. What we have seen in different businesses is when there's a game currency that's being given away um, for in-game rewards or out-the-game rewards or real rewards. People don't really think about coin economy as a concept. That's only thought of in like the Web3 model. But we do believe that the kind of coin economy that we're building, the coin needs to hold its value. It shouldn't be like today because the competition might be lesser, relatively lesser. You can get something for 10,000 coins. And let's say 2 years down the line, the competition is insanely high on the app. And even like 10 lakh coins doesn't get you anything. Sort of attaching a value to that is core part of our business models that we do. But the business model itself, we have essentially three major models. One is advertisements that will be running. The second will be our in-app purchase offerings. It's going to be in form of microtransactions, but essentially enhances the experience for the users on the app. And the third is a brand partnership model. Within there are like basically two subsection. One is a branding model with these brands, and one is an affiliate model with the brands. So these will be our three major revenue models that we'll be integrating to sort of earn some money.
Don't you feel it's a very or like regulatory risky business to have because it's a very fine definition you're operating on.
See, again, before even starting, we wanted to be very sure that we are complying with all the rules in India. Because again, it's one of those things that today I can confidently say we are within these legal bounds. But tomorrow, if the regulation or the regulators see it the other way, then we can't say for sure what's going to happen in the future, because no one thought that what they did with the GST taxation in real money gaming is something that they would do, but they did it. So for future, I don't know as of now what can happen or what might happen. But what I can confidently say is that before even starting this, we had to consulted with two of the largest legal firms in India about this model itself and what we're doing. It was a huge, like a very lengthy model or a lengthy opinion, but the findings of it very clear that till the time you don't have intake or outtake of money on your app, there's a completely a gamified and loyalty program. So essentially, that's you think about it. It's kind of a loyalty program, right? It's something that users are like getting coins for the actions they do on the app, and those points they mean something because the brands are utilizing those coins as part of their reward program. So it's a loyalty program on the face of it, if you think.
Got it. And what sort of value have, what is the current coin value like? What can you get for like whatever, like 10,000 coins on the platform? Like help us understand the, what can someone get and what has someone got?
Yeah. So essentially, there are in reward our reward page. There are two, three different kind of reward contests. So one is a reward contest where user gets absolutely free products. So users don't have to pay anything for it. So essentially, what happens in this is it's a bidding war. So for 24 hours, there are 6 to 7 products that are live, and users on the app they can bid whatever they think is the highest amount they can win. Of course, they need to have those amount of coins as well. But at the end of 24 hours, whoever is the highest bidder wins that product. And when I say highest bidder, it's essentially with the coins they have. The second kind of model is where users can get access to discount coupons, uh, coupon vouchers, etc., from the brand partners, where it can be redeemed for fixed amount of coins. So essentially, the way that happens, we have done gamification in that too. So it happens in a spin the wheel and a slot machine concept. So one spin the wheel or one slot machine is about 5,000 coins. But in those 5,000 coins, you essentially definitely get one reward. Now, what reward you're getting depends upon your luck. But this is how it happens. The kind of products we have on the platform, essentially there are 4 or 5 different categories: electronics, your FMCG items, lifestyles, fashion, and then also like your high essential items. Like when I say high essential, it's basically your food delivery, cab hailing, quick commerce, etc.
Understood. Understood. And that's very interesting. That's very, and it's, so you guys are operating within India or how are you currently structured and do you also operate internationally?
No, as of now we do only operate in India, but we do have aspirations of making it a global app.
Okay. And you're based in India, the company itself?
Yeah.
Understood. And the games, me tell me a little bit more about it. So what are these sort of games? Do you source it directly? Do you build these games? Like how does it work?
So um, we were very clear from the first day that we don't want to marry to these games, because when we build these games ourselves, we have a bias of making them work. If they don't work, we'll still try to make them work. So we were very sure that we don't want to do that. And that's why we work with different game development studios and license these games from them. So essentially, what we do on our side is we see these trends, because casual games or hyper casual games are majorly trend driven. Right now we are seeing that the simulation category in gaming and hyper casual gaming is really taking off in India in the last couple of months. So we'll study these trends, we'll see what kind of games are working in the market, and then we'll go to our partners and tell them, if you have these games, please give it to us, and if you don't, then build it for us. So but we license them, we don't in-house store them. And SRB nahi hai, we also have this rule that if the game, let's say in like we have taken 15 games for example, we'll see it in the first month based on the usage. So let's say if we see that 10 of the games that are on the app out of 15, they are working really well. So we'll keep them, and 5 of them are, we'll remove them and get more games. So that's how we sort of go about games.
And what are your current top three games on the platform?
So, in terms of the gameplay itself, I think so. The biggest one is the cricket one that we have. So it's a stick cricket kind of a concept. The second is Blazing Blade. So it's a very fun game. I like to play that as well. And the third would be Tower Twist. So we are seeing that these three games are the top, that the users are playing.
And you just mentioned hyper casual. What is that? What are these games like? I'm not aware of.
So imagine you using Instagram and you'll see some game ads. Sometimes you'll see some game ads. It could be very rare, but you'll see them. So essentially, hyper casual, and the difference between casual and hyper casual is very low. But casual games sometimes offer you progression, level ups. So your example would for a casual game would be a Candy Crush, and your example for a hyper casual game would be something like which I mentioned, like a Tower Twist or Zigzag or your 2048. So these are your hyper casual games where there's no real progression. It's the same thing you're doing again and again. There's no level progression happening in the game.
Got it. Do you have any sort of so imagine this, you have access to government, and what is that one two policy you want them to relook, change, introduce or something?
I've never thought about it this way, but I don't have specific policies that would want to recommend them. The only thing I would recommend is more clarity on the current policies. Because when you see certain definitions about game of chance, game of skill, lotteries act, your lucky draw act, I still feel like better clarification will lead to better planning for whatever we want to do and whatever anyone wants to do. But I don't think as of now I have any new policy recommendation, but the recommendation would be clarity on the current policies itself.
Do I have to pay GST if I buy something using coins?
So if it's above a certain threshold,
Understood.
you have to pay TDS. So it's like a gift act. The policy is about gift act, but we don't sort of cross that threshold because that is above 50,000. If let's say a user is winning a product above 50,000, then you have to pay a TDS. But that is also included in the partnership that we do itself so that the user doesn't have to pay something.
And GST is also not applicable.
No. The basic one, of course,
Wow.
like the one we pay for our revenues and everything, but not for the contest format itself. Because as I said earlier as well,
Yeah.
because if you're paying right on the app, that's when the GST, additional GST, which is on real money gaming, gets applied. But you're not buying these coins. You're not taking these coins out as money. So there's no question of GST in that.
Got it. Understood. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's cool. So, what are your then plans? What do you now plan to? What are your the milestones you're looking at? Grow users, introduce new games. Like, what keeps you up at night?
There's a lot of things, but essentially when I say what we plan to do, keep on doing, is we target or we are confident that will be around 15 million users by the end of this year. And essentially we want to keep on working and improving our product, which betters our retention and engagement even further. We want to sort of partner with more development studios to get interesting games faster and in a better way on our platform. We want to keep on working on the product in terms of not only the game itself, but I am a big believer because if you see that there's two aspects of our app, which is casual gaming and then sports predictions. Both of them are not something that we have built ourselves. In general, these things existed. What we are essentially doing is the gamification layer that we're creating around. So keep on working on these gamification strategies and get deeper into the user journey, to which further helps us build better retention and engagement. So essentially it's about just keep working on the product because getting users is not that difficult for us. It's about getting them and making them stay for long term and keeping them engaged with the app, and that will only happen if they love to use the app. So essentially build a product that users will love and keep further growing from there.
So, tell me this one thing which came to my mind could be totally wrong. I mean, growth in your business isn't it not directly linked to the unemployment rate?
I mean, I wouldn't say that. So I'll categorize the players that we have. Let me put it that way. So our average age group is about 18 to 26, 27. So these people are late into their studies or early into their job careers. So essentially, that's the categorization of people. And the hypothesis that we have made, which could be something that can be very insensitive to talk about, but it's the reality. We sort of tend to get people who have more time to spend than money. Now, this doesn't mean necessarily that it's always unemployment, but it's more like the spending capacity and the kind of things that they're looking for. So that's our hypothesis around the people that we have.
Because the reason I said is because there was some politician who said something and it just came to my mind. And I don't know. See, I don't know this business. So it just came to my mind. Does it really? So what is that average ticket size a user spend? So you have 7 million, out of which I think few percent will be spending. So what's that average
So
ticket
essentially,
microtransaction
the
happening?
only spending that they do is on our partners' website in terms of the brand partners that we have, because the whatever happening on the app is for either free products or the redemption of the coupons. So let's say if Ashish is on the platform, he redeems his coins for, let's say, 30% off on a Boat earphone, for example. And now the Ashish will take that coupon and go to Boat's website and redeem that coupon. But essentially, the conversion rates that we have historically seen from coupons being redeemed to on our platform, let's say if 100 coupons are being redeemed on our platform, about 30 of them are getting converted to on the brand partner's website. And the kind of AOVs we have, it doesn't exceed 2,500 to 3,000. So all the products that we have from our brand partners, the AOV is between like 2,000 and 3,000 rupees. We can do math around that, but essentially that would be not like, the accurate one.
And but what about microtransactions which you mentioned
We
in-game
have
purchase?
not done it right
Is
now.
that
We have not done it right now. We are launching it later this month and about early next month.
okay? Got it, got it. But it's very interesting then, because then you become essentially a sales funnel for these brand partners, right? And they sort of you send these all sort of users to them, and then it's a very interesting model if you think about it, right? I mean, and what is that coupon meet people are usually looking forward to? Like, they want boat headphone, or what is that product everybody is after at?
So the kind of I'll split it down for you. So the branding category that I spoke about in the brand partnership, there are two major buckets. So one is a branding campaign, and then second is the affiliate model. So in the branding campaign, what we envision is that any D2C brand who wants to do a branding campaign can work for us, because the kind of geography we have is typically Gen Z and millennials, which almost all the D2C brands are targeting these days. So the branding campaign can have any brand. It could be a big brand like a Red Bull or a Coke. It could be like, a smaller brand in wellness and like electronics category, or anyone. In the affiliate model, what we thought was, this is something that I had to explain to my team a lot on why I'm saying this. So India is a very value conscious market, value and price both, like they're very value conscious. But inherently, let's say if I'm working with aspirational brands, and when I say aspirational, I'm talking about purchases that you don't make frequently. The kind of frequency that we want on the app for these coupon redemptions goes down. So essentially, what we thought as a model was we wanted to test it out. So what we thought was we need to keep our AOVs of these brand partners between 100 to, let's say, maximum of 1,000 rupees. And the category and the vertical of these brands needs to be high essential and high frequency. So what I mean by that is all the food delivery apps, your cab hailing apps, quick commerce apps, e-commerce apps, your OTT apps, essentially the places where users are already spending on, and if we can get them better deals, will result in better conversion for these partners. But we already, and then also keep a small part of these aspirational categories like Boat, Hammer, Firebolt, and all these other, like, bigger brands. But we do see that the most amount of value, it doesn't mean that we are not able to provide value to these platforms, but the frequency at which we'll be able to provide value is, I think so, better in higher frequency and higher like usage brands where users are already using it in day to day life. You think about it. If you already are using a Zomato or a Swiggy and you get a deal of either of the platforms on BeBetta, you're going to be using it very soon, right? So that's how we see things panning out eventually.
So help me understand the economics of it. So for example, I win a coupon for Zomato, 100 rupees,
Yeah.
50 rupees, whatever. What is your take in it? Like you guys make 10 rupees out of it, 20, like within that. or how do you make money out of it? Like 50 rupees off, you make the money within that. Like how is it structured, that partnership?
Depending on, essentially, there are different models in that too. Sometimes it's all about the coupon fee itself. Sometimes it's on the overall order value once the coupon is being redeemed over there. But essentially, the way we structure it, the affiliate fee that we'll be charging will be sitting between 5% to 20 and 25%, depending on the category it is in. So some categories have higher uh, uh, like acceptance because the margins are higher there, and some categories don't have so much of margins. So that's why, depending on the category, the affiliate fee will be from 5% to 25%.
We got it. And 5% and 25%, this is basically on the total value of the product.
Yes, total order value. So let's say if today I am giving you, for example, let's say 20% off, a 20% off coupon of XYZ brand. And let's say you go and use that, and the product that you've ordered is essentially, of course, when we work with brands, they're going to be setting some caps on it, on the kind of products that they can redeem on. They can't redeem across website. If the AOVs are lesser, then of course they can do. And let's say the product they've gone and order is for 1,000 rupees, then the affiliate fee will sit upon that product itself, the product value itself. So let's say 800 rupees ka product hua, then we charge, depending on the category, between 5 and 20%.
Got it. The thing is, there is this, I don't know if you have seen within Swiggy or Zomato. I mean, they have started to give these discount coupons for different D2C products and all. And like you will get delivery free if you buy these D2C products or something of those sorts. I have tried that, but I have never found a value in it, right? I mean, it gives me a good kick, if you can understand, like, oh wow, I got this, while you're looking at your order, there is like below the order, it's sometime like, hey, you have won this or scratch card or something. There are some coupons which are kicking in. My question to you is, if I'm a brand, if I'm Firebolt, right? Firebolt founder came to a podcast, I think few months back, right? I mean, they will be giving the discount coupon irrespective, like in through multiple channels. If they want to sell a product, I'm assuming it may be directly on the website. I don't know. I mean, someone will find that coupon if they are really looking at it through Google or through something, right? So, what is that stickiness? So, two question within it, the worthiness of these coupons, right? I have personally used, I never found it, valuable. Second is, if someone really needs a coupon, why will I play the game or do something? I will just Google it or find someone else coupon, or there are so many mechanisms to just find it.
Awesome. So one part of the question is, how do we keep it interesting for the users in terms of rewards? The answer to that is that, essentially, the coupon format is one part of our entire rewards program. It's not the entire rewards program. That's the first part. We have the bidding model, which I mentioned. We are introducing a couple of other reward models as well. So coupon and discount offers are one part of it. So this is from the user's perspective.
Okay.
From the brand's perspective, now what you said is very interesting. This was the same point I was mentioning for higher frequency brands. Now, essentially, when you talk about Swiggy, you get a scratch card for something that you're not gonna instantly purchase. You're not gonna instantly purchase, let's say, headphones or earphones, or let's say a T-shirt or whatever it is. These all are incremental luxury purchases that it's not necessity for you. But ordering food, ordering cabs, ordering groceries, ordering, like, or let's say entertainment in terms of OTT or YouTube, uh, these things are most likely some things that you're already doing on a regular basis. Now you getting regular deals in that makes it better for you. You'll see that most of the times that the cashback offers that Swiggy has is most of the times based on the payment modes that you select. Sometimes you will see that, pay off a HDFC credit card, or let's say you order Swiggy's co-branded credit card or debit card, what they have. So here the user don't have to worry about some things like that. There's no conditions. You redeem that coupon, you'll be able to access that coupon irrespective of whatever payment mode you're selecting. So it just sort of, like, makes it easy. And you think about it now, like till now, whatever rewards you are getting in terms of actions you are making were limited to fintech products. You have to pay for this. like you pay on Google Pay, you pay on credit, you pay on, let's say, some credit debit card. But that's when you get these cashback points or rewards in terms of the loyalty. Here you're getting those things by playing games. Like it's the easiest thing, right? So that's the idea, that in terms of the coupons and offers we make, it needs to be around categories that users are already using with a very high frequency, and then also keeping some part of it for the aspirational side. Kabhi na kabhi to you'll think, okay, I want to buy a t-shirt, and probably if I have an offer, you'll be able to go and buy it. But regular level, we have to keep categories which are high frequency and high essential for the users.
Wow. That's pretty interesting insight. But I think there is a trick. If you just offer me Bitcoin, I'll download the app right now instead of coins. That's not possible.
Let's think
Or
about it in this.
Ethereum or something, or
See, the idea also was keeping it Bitcoin was the same reason that it just like sparked conversation. Bitcoin to suna tha, Bitcoin kya hai? Something like that. Of course, we are not at all into Web3 or crypto as of now, but never say never.
but why not? I mean, just give me a game where which uses my phone's processing power and whatever 0.0001 Bitcoin I earn. I'll just keep your app on always and mine for you.
See, the thing is that we need to create scarcity and we need to create utility to the coin. So today we don't sort of have a proper roadmap. If we launch today and there are millions of Bitcoins out in circulation with no utility beyond rewards, it's just a fad, right? You have seen so many fads in crypto already. We don't want to be another one. And regulatory aspects behind it are also something that are still, what I said earlier, unclear in India. Though there are certain aspects that they've made it clear, but still the long term game is unclear.
But I mean, you can still do an ICO, initial coin offering. You have a coin. It's you're giving rewards to it. I mean, it fits the playbook.
I understand what you're saying, but even in order to do the initial coin offering, we need to have a white paper ready, we need to have a roadmap ready, we need to have all the other parameters ready about what the utility of this coin is going to be, what the entire thing is going to look like. So I think so. We have current the problems that we have currently are taking large amount of our time, where this what we're talking about is an entirely different vertical altogether. So I think so we'll be just like shooting ourselves in the foot if we like do all the things together.
You see, I was just trying to see. You're not convinced about crypto in this entire world.
I'm convinced about the blockchain aspect. Crypto is subjective, but I am convinced about blockchain, the technology itself. The applications we have seen till now, I'm not so convinced about that. There are a couple of things that really interests me. The fan tokens aspect of it, for example. So you'll see that a lot of these football clubs have started co-creating fan tokens for their fans. So let's say if I am a Liverpool fan and Liverpool has launched their own fan tokens, I can buy those fan tokens and it gives me soft voting rights in the team. And these voting rights could be, okay, what do you think should be the like jersey color next year? Who do you think we should think about signing? Or some of these soft voting rights, which just makes me feel as a fan closer to the club, and as opposed to other people or other fans who don't have those coins. So that is one of the aspects that really interested me. And we thought that, okay, if ever we do something like this is the direction that we would go to. So, because we already
That's
have the
interesting.
sports angle on the app, work with IPL teams or national teams, at least started with cricket, where we co-create fan tokens for them, and users can purchase those fan tokens by their Bitcoins. So, but again, these are things that I keep on seeing and keep on thinking. Nothing solid yet, but if at all we do that, probably that's the direction that we go to.
That's an interesting sort of adjacency to tap in and explore. All right. Let's touch upon fundraising. So, have you guys raised any funds? Plan to raise more funds? What's the status on that?
As we did our seed round, I think so last end of last year, and towards the beginning of this year, we've raised about 15.5 cr. This was primarily from like family offices and ultra HNIs. That was our first round, and today we're also planning to do our Series A right now.
But do you guys need capital? What is that capital requirement for exactly?
four major things, and I touched upon them a bit earlier. So the target, essential milestones, the key four things that we are going to be planning in the next year is the user growth that we have seen. We want to keep on sort of maintaining that while exploring other channels of acquisition, because our organic is growing really fast, but we also need to sort of balance that out.
How do you acquire customers?
So we work with a lot of these micro creators who sort of talk about BeBetta and their experience. And these are like regional creators, depending on the target that we want to sort of go to. That's the first category that we see. The second is that we do these Google and Meta ads. That's where our the second highest users comes from. And when I say the second highest, essential split right now is about 65 organic and 35% paid. So I'm talking about the channels in 35% paid. So these are like the first two models that we are seeing working out well for us. And third is more of a secret sauce to us, but we do work with a lot of these Telegram content creators. So that's where also the third.
Oh, wow.
On the organic side, as I said, we have a very strong referral program. We have a lot of these social features in the app, which makes it better for you to invite your friends to the app. So that's where we see a lot of our organic growth consistently in the last I think so 5 6 months. We have been in top 10 of Google Play Store rankings in our category, so that has also pushed our organic a lot. So that's how we acquire users. But coming back to the point of why we need this capital or why we need to do this fundraise, more than capital, it's important for us the kind of people we are able to get who back us, who can guide us and have this industry experience in some ways. But what we're going to be doing with the funds themselves, first part is the kind of user growth that we have seen. We want to keep maintaining and sort of like, optimize our channels even further. The second is that, as I
Mhm.
mentioned earlier, that we want to keep working on our product, which helps us better our retention and engagement even further. The third part is that we want to sort of the models, all the business models or the revenue models we discussed right now. Most of them are going to be live by the end of this year and early next year. So keep on working on them and keep on optimizing them to its optimum capacity. And if at all, let's say there's some hiccups, that we need to sort of plan things around it as well. So launch and optimize the revenue models will be a third priority. And fourth one is that within this model, like these business models, there's specific advertisement model that we are going to be doing in a different way. That development and deployment of that different way is something that is of a large scope. So work on that. So these are like four major milestones or priorities that we are going to be doing with this fundraise.
Awesome. Awesome. That's good to know. One thing I could sense is like, so how did you guys sort of figure it out? So I think in this business there are a lot of moving pieces, but how did you sort of guys figure it out from marketing to channel which will work versus game? I mean, there is a complete structure to it, but are you the guys who cracked it? Who cracked it within your team, or like, because it's the process seems very seamless to me in terms of execution.
See, I wouldn't say there was a particular person or a particular moment that's happened. I think so. It just see, one thing you have to realize in our case is that whatever we had to do very fast or very quickly, because everything was just happening like 10x than what we expected. Be it the problems or be it the like good parts of it. So what we had to consistently do is push ourselves to be better in terms of where we are today. And essential target was one thing, that whatever you're doing in terms of from communications, marketing, product notifications, product tech, the basic fundamental question you have to ask: am I, whatever I'm doing, is this something that my user will love? And if you're not honestly able to answer that question, then I think so you have not done a good job. So that is in terms of how we had to think about the product offering and overall processes. And when you have this chip on your shoulder that whatever I'm doing, eventually I have to ask this question to myself: is this something that the user will love or not? And if they don't, then whatever I'm doing will go to waste. So that was one. Second was getting people at the core positions who have similar experiences in both scaling companies as well as the gaming industry. That also eliminates a lot of mistakes that you'll make overall. And yeah, I think so. It's more about your dedication to keep on going, and your passion for what you're passion about what you're building, and the kind of team and folks you have around it, and fundamentally building something that users will love. So if you build something users will love, you'll get good distribution. If you get good distribution, whatever revenue models you are planning to introduce will work better. If those work better, the company will grow better. So everything starts with asking this question: is it something that the users will love?
Amazing, amazing. Really, really like the clarity meet. I think that's very important, and thank you for explaining us in with patience and in detail. Really appreciate. And yeah, thank you so much for your time, Meet. It was such a pleasure having you. Anything you want to share from your perspective? Anything which I may have missed? Anything? Any comments from your side?
No, I think so. The kind of questions and the kind of things you asked were really interesting, and it's better to have this free flowing conversation where we can just discuss about what you think about what we are doing and my response to it. So overall, it was an amazing conversation, and thank you so much for having me. It was really good to be here, and yeah, that's
Awesome.